Alrighty guys, welcome back to another video. This is going to be part 2 of the Wildlife Animal Sanctuary in Keenesburg, Colorado. Remember, there are 3 facilities here. This is the only one that is open to the public. Last video I touched on a lot about the smaller animals such as the foxes, servals, and wolves and stuff like that. This one I have a bigger surprise for you guys, quite literally. This time we're going to be going over most of the big animals that they have. So the leopards, lions, tigers, and bears. So if any of that interests you, then go ahead and stick around. I'm going to be spitting off a lot of facts at you guys about a lot of these animals, and also, just like last video, I'm also going to be telling some stories about how some of these animals were rescued. And I have a little bit more interesting stories than last time, so go ahead and stay tuned for something, especially the tigers. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and go right on into the leopards. So leopards, they here at the Wildlife Animal Sanctuary, they mainly have black and regular leopards. They're most commonly found in south parts of Africa and some parts of Asia. They can live up to about 17 years. I'm not too sure on how it differs between in the wild versus in captivity, so go ahead and do your own research on that. They can get up to about 6 feet or 180 centimeters. And they can be up to about 200 pounds or 90 kilograms. And leopards are a lot stronger than you may think. You may just look at that, just slightly stronger than a dog or something. But they can actually carry entire antelopes up trees. So they're kind of an arboreal species, to where they'll hunt, nap, and just kind of chill in trees mainly. And once they do find a kill, they're ambush predators, so they'll jump down from the tree onto their prey, and they will drag it up a tree. If you haven't seen that before, go ahead and look up a video, because it is very, very cool and also astonishing. So leopards are awesome, but we're going to go ahead and move on to the lions. So here at the Wildlife Animal Sanctuary, they have white African and common lions. They can get up to about 7 feet or a little over 2 meters. They can be up to 500 pounds or 230 kilograms. And unlike most big cats, they will live in groups called prides. If you've seen The Lion King, you know what I'm talking about. And these numbers can be as few as 4 and up to about 35 members. I think they can even go a little bit more than that. So in these prides, they will sort of select out an area that they want to patrol, whether they like it for all of its environmental factors or if it's really good hunting grounds. They will actually patrol and protect this area and also hunt in as well. But some prides can keep the same land for decades, depending on the fertility of the land. So they'll mark this territory by either roaring and making it vocal, scent markings, and they will also urinate on plants and bushes. So it kind of gets that scent all over and tells other animals, hey, we're here, tread lightly. I actually got a really cool video of one of these lions roaring, which I was really hoping to get, especially since I was hearing this guy pretty much the entire time. So go ahead and enjoy this little clip right here.
Yeah.
So all the lions that are in this enclosure that you guys are seeing right now, they were actually just rescued 2 weeks before we got there from a zoo in Puerto Rico, and they were actually being starved. This male right here, his front teeth were actually taken out. I think I try and get a little shot of it, but due to this, his tongue was actually sticking out, and I don't think that it was of his doing. So luckily, he's now in a place to where he doesn't even need his front teeth, and the staff there will tend to his every need. So yeah, you can see his little tongue right there. So yeah, pretty sad, but still, good that he's there. Lions will hunt pretty much anything that consists of meat. They can even, do as much as taking down a sickly elephant. In my opinion, I like female lions more. I don't know why a bunch of people get tattoos of male lions. I get it, that might be the leader of the pride or whatever, but females, in my opinion, do more. They hunt more effectively. The manes can kind of get in the way of camouflage, and the females will also take care of the young, whereas the males will not. So males are a little lazier. I think the females are, cooler. And if you're gonna get a lion tattoo, get one of a female because they're more ferocious. Now, obviously, as you may know, lion numbers are dwindling, mainly because in the wild they will only breed once every 2 years, but in captivity they can breed twice in a year. So, um, I don't know if this is entirely true. I heard it from somebody, but I believe that the female lions will actually bite on the testicles of male lions when they want to breed, and when the guy isn't having it and isn't taking hints. So I don't know if that fact is 100% true or even a fact at all. So go ahead and do your own research on that. I just have heard that and I thought it was absolutely hilarious. Um, we kind of had a special sighting here. So this was a white lion, and according to the volunteer that was there with us, um, he said that he never really comes out, and especially not this close. So it was very, very cool to see, um, yeah, this guy come out and pretty much give us a little private show. So sad little story. I don't know if it was this guy right here, but Rio, a male white lion, was shipped from the United States to the island of Guam when he was just a cub in order to be used in a hotel magic show. Rio, along with two African servals, were used as exotic props in the show and were kept in small cages on the rooftop of a hotel for more than 5 years. Thankfully, when the COVID-19 pandemic hit negatively affected the island's tourism, the hotel was forced to close. Suddenly, Rio and his companions were no longer useful to their owners, so they allowed our sanctuary to step in and rescue them. Rio now enjoys a wonderful life with two beautiful female lions in a 20-acre habitat. So, very, very inspiring and awesome to see. But we're going to go ahead and move on to tigers. So here they have white and golden tigers. Tigers can be up to 13 feet when standing on their hind legs, or 4 meters, and they can weigh up to about 660 pounds or 300 kilograms. So if you thought, lions were bigger than tigers, I'm sorry, they're not. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but tigers are bigger. I think they're badder. If, I was to decide to put my money on a tiger or a lion, I'd put my money on a tiger 9 times out of 10. They have a lot of cool traits. They've adapted to all different types of climates, such as going from temperatures of like negative 40 degrees Celsius or even as high as 104 degrees Fahrenheit, or 40 degrees Celsius as well. And they will live in places such as like rainforests, and places all the way to like dry grasslands. So unlike the lion, tigers will prefer to hunt at night, and I would say that they're pretty much the top predator everywhere that they go, unless for some reason bears are in that equation, but I'm not seeing a lot of commonalities between bear and tiger populations, so that's good. They they won't make prides or anything like that. They'll mainly stay on their own, which is something that you'll see with these other cats as well. They'll also mark their own territory by vocalizing scent deposits. They'll even leave like claw markings on trees and spraying a scent from their anal glands. So some sad facts. At the beginning of the 20th century, there were around 100,000 tigers worldwide. In the start of the 21st century, there was maybe 6,000 left in the wild. And now here in 2023, there are about 3,200. So it really, really hurts. Actually, 90% of tigers in the world are actually in Texas for dumb things like private zoos or pets. So, Texas, get your stuff together. Stop having these big cats as pets. I don't know how many times we gotta say it, but it's not cool. It's abusive. Um, but cool little thing about this is most of these tigers are actually celebrities. So most of these tigers were saved from the cruel, um, sort of abusive madman known as Joey Exotic. If you've seen the Tiger King series on Netflix, most of these tigers and a couple other their animals were rescued from there and actually now live here. So Pearl, she's a female tiger, and along with nearly 20 other tigers, spent their lives in the facility in Dade City, Florida, where people could pay to interact and swim with tiger cubs. Removed from their mothers at only a day or two of age and forced to interact and swim with paying guests. Such abusive treatment was determined to be a violation of the Endangered Species Act after an illegal journey through a notorious tiger breeding facility in Oklahoma, Joey Exotics. The sanctuary was finally able to rescue Pearl and the other tigers, so now they live wonderful lives in large acreage habitats with other tigers, free from human exploitation. So, screw Tiger King, and let's go on to bears. Here at the Wildlife Animal Sanctuary, they have grizzly and black bears. And if there was one animal I never ever ever want to see in the wild, or at least in fear of my life sort of way, it would be a bear. Bears are terrifying. They'll kill you in a very, very vicious way, but also just majestic creatures at the same time. They can be up to 8 feet when standing on their hind legs and can be up to about 1,600 pounds or 720 kilograms. So if something is as big as your car and like if if you were to hit it with your car, I don't know which one would have more damage on it. That's how big bears can get. I don't think people understand how big bears are and how much they can really, really, really ruin your day. Um, Besides the polar bear and the giant panda, bears are omnivores and eat smaller things than you would think, actually. So I read that, I'm not entirely sure, I went on Britannica for this one because I don't know too much on bear facts. But they'll eat such things as ants, bees, nuts, and berries. But they can also eat rodents, deer, fish, and anything else. Honestly, uh, these guys are probably the most apex predator you can get. I'd say they're the apex of the apex predators, at least when it comes to land animals. Um, yeah, just nothing's beating a bear. If bringing it back to animal versus animal, like a tiger versus a bear, hands down, 100%. Um, they're just gigantic creatures. Um, the only real threat that they might have is when they're young. Cougars and wolves and stuff like that will take advantage and attack then. But obviously, other than that, humans are their number one threat. Um, so we'll go ahead and go on over to a story about one of these bears. This bear was called Clementine. She was a female grizzly bear. She was rescued when the USDA confiscated 5 grizzly bears, 2 black bears, and 1 mountain lion from a horribly cramped exotic animal breeder's compound near the town of Portland, Indiana. Both Clementine and her brother Oscar and all the other animals were kept in tiny steel cages and were forced to hibernate inside cold iron barrels when their owner refused to provide more adequate shelters for the animals. The USDA moved to confiscate them and asked the Wild Animal Sanctuary to give them a better home. Clementine and the other bears now live in incredibly natural 20-acre habitats, complete with ponds to swim in and snug and warm underground dens to hibernate in. So, as you can see, got some of the cutest footage I've ever gotten of this guy blowing bubbles in his little pool, which is just a treat to see. So, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed part 2 of the Wildlife Animal Sanctuary. This will be the last one. So go ahead and smash that like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you guys like all the content that me and Jason are pushing out. And I will see you guys in the next one.